Most rugged phones feel like tools first, and phones second. They survive water, dust, drops, maybe even the apocalypse. But using them every day usually feels terrible. They're huge, bulky, heavy, and sometimes feel more like construction equipment than modern smartphones. But this thing is different. This is the Oukitel WP66, a rugged phone that actually tries to feel stylish, useful, and modern. It still has serious protection, but the main idea here is not just, look, I can drop it. The more interesting part is how practical it feels in normal life. So today, I want to test it like a real phone. Unboxing, design, the secondary screen, selfies with gesture controls, cameras, performance, AI features, battery life, outdoor use, durability, and then my 5 reasons why this phone actually makes sense. Let's start with the box. Inside, I get the WP66 itself, the charging adapter, USB-C cable, manuals, and a protective case. The setup is simple, but right away the phone feels solid in the hand. And honestly, the first surprise is the size. When you hear rugged phone with an 11,000 mAh battery, you expect a giant brick, something you could accidentally use as gym equipment. But the WP66 is only 15.8 millimeters thick, which is surprisingly slim for a rugged phone with this kind of battery. It still feels tough, but not ridiculously oversized. Visually, I actually like how this version looks. Most rugged phones try too hard to look aggressive, but the WP66 feels cleaner and more modern. The metallic texture, sharp lines, and the secondary screen on the back give it a more futuristic tech look instead of the usual bulky industrial style. It still looks rugged, but not like it only belongs on a construction site. And because the body is slimmer than expected, it feels more comfortable in daily use. Holding it while walking, checking messages, filming, or carrying it in a pocket feels more normal than I expected. The front display is also smooth. The 120Hz refresh rate makes scrolling and animations feel cleaner, so the phone doesn't feel outdated the moment you start using it. That matters, because a rugged phone can be strong on the outside, but if the screen feels slow, the whole experience feels old. But the most unusual thing here is the secondary screen on the back. At first, I thought it would be a fun feature for 5 minutes, and then I'd forget about it. But in daily use, it actually makes the phone feel more interactive. I can check notifications, control music, see the battery, use timers, and handle calls without opening the main display every time. It's a small thing, but when the phone is on the table, in my hand, or I'm using it one-handed, it feels convenient. The best use, though, is the camera. The rear screen lets me use the main camera for selfies and actually see the frame. So instead of guessing where my face is, I can take a proper shot with the better camera. And for photos from a tripod or group shots, Oukitel added gesture controls. I can show a peace sign, thumbs up, open hand, or fist, and the phone takes the picture. It feels a little ridiculous at first, like I'm casting spells at a rugged phone, but it works, and it makes the whole camera experience more fun than I expected. The front camera is there for normal selfies and video calls, but because of the rear screen, I honestly prefer using the main camera for selfies. It gives better quality, and I can still see the framing. There is also a macro option for close-up shots. I wouldn't say it is the main reason to buy the phone, but it's fun for textures, plants, small objects, and those random close-up shots you always take once you realize the phone can do it. Overall, the camera experience is better than I expected from a rugged phone, mostly because the secondary screen makes the main camera much more useful. And after taking the shots, viewing them on the main 6.6-inch display also feels nice. The screen is smooth, bright, and the photos look vivid, so the whole camera experience feels more stylish than I expected from a rugged phone. For daily use, the WP66 feels smooth and responsive. Apps open quickly, scrolling feels clean, switching between apps is stable, and normal things like watching videos, using maps, messaging, or browsing don't feel frustrating. That is important because rugged phones sometimes focus so much on protection that the actual phone experience feels behind. Here, it feels more current. The phone runs on the Dimensity 7025 5G chip with Android 16, and you can get a version with plenty of RAM and storage, so it doesn't feel limited for normal use. It also makes sense as a travel phone. You can use 2 SIM cards, expand storage with a memory card, unlock it quickly with the side fingerprint scanner, pay with NFC, and rely on strong navigation support when you're outside or away from home. Instead of feeling like a backup device you only use in emergencies, it feels more like a daily phone that also happens to be rugged. The WP66 also includes AI features, including Gemini support and Oukitel's AI tools. And honestly, AI on a rugged phone sounds a little unusual at first, but if you connect it to real situations, it starts to make more sense. For example, I can point the camera at a home plant and ask what it is, or why the leaves look unhealthy. I can ask AI to summarize some information, translate text, help write a quick note, or explain something I just photographed. So it's not the main reason to buy the phone, but it helps the WP66 feel more like a modern smartphone with outdoor protection, instead of just a tough phone with a big battery. Battery life is one of the biggest parts of this phone. Inside is an 11,000 mAh battery, and with that kind of capacity, you stop worrying about charging in the same way. For normal daily use, it can last much longer than a regular phone. And if you're traveling, filming outside, using GPS, hotspot, camera, or mobile data all day, that extra battery becomes very useful. The reverse charging feature also makes sense here. If my earbuds die, my second phone is low, or one of my camera accessories needs power, I can plug it into the WP66 and use it like an emergency power bank. And because the battery is so large, this doesn't feel like a gimmick. It feels like something you might actually use. The speaker is also very loud, which is useful for a phone like this. Outside, volume matters. If you're using navigation, listening to music, taking calls, or working somewhere noisy, the phone is easier to hear. There's also a small outdoor toolbox built into the system, so if you need to check direction, use a quick level, magnify something, measure sound, or use a few simple utility tools, they are already there without downloading extra apps. I wouldn't use these tools every single day, but for outdoor work, travel, camping, or filming in random places, they actually fit the idea of the phone. Now, of course, this is still a rugged phone, so I also tested the durability side. The WP66 is designed to handle water, drops, and rough outdoor conditions without making you nervous every time something touches the phone. It has IP68, IP69K, and MIL-STD-810H protection, so normal outdoor situations are not really a problem for it. So instead of doing exaggerated torture tests, I used it more like a real outdoor phone. Water from a bottle, wet grass, damp hands, carrying it around with other gear in a backpack. The kinds of situations where regular phones usually make you a little careful. And honestly, that's the part I actually like most about rugged phones. Not the dramatic, look, I destroyed it for YouTube tests, but the everyday freedom. Rain? Fine. Wet hands? Fine. Throwing it next to cables, camera gear, and random stuff in a bag? Also fine. And the important thing is that afterward, it still feels like a normal modern smartphone instead of a damaged brick that technically survived. And now, here are my 5 reasons why the Oukitel WP66 makes sense. First reason, it doesn't feel like a compromise. Most rugged phones make you choose durability or comfort, but the WP66 gives you serious protection, a big battery, and still feels usable as a normal everyday phone. Second reason, the secondary screen makes the phone more fun. It's not only practical for quick checks and selfies, it also makes the phone feel different. Rugged phones are usually serious and boring, but this one has personality. Third reason, it's made for long days outside. The huge battery, loudspeaker, strong navigation support, reverse charging, and rugged body all make sense together. It feels like a phone you can take out for the whole day without planning everything around charging or protection. Fourth reason, the camera setup is more useful than expected. The rear screen makes the main camera better for selfies, tripod shots, and group photos. Gesture controls add a fun touch, and photos look good on the main display. Fifth reason, it feels like a modern rugged phone, not an old rugged phone. Smooth 120Hz display, Android 16, AI tools, 5G, NFC, and the cleaner design make it feel current instead of outdated. Overall, the Oukitel WP66 feels like a different direction for rugged smartphones. Instead of making the toughest possible brick, Oukitel tried to make a rugged phone that people might actually enjoy using every day. It still has protection, but it also has personality, style, battery life, and useful features that make sense in daily life. And honestly, I think that is a much smarter approach. If you want to check out the Oukitel WP66, I'll leave a link and discount information in the description below. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.